The undefeated North Penn Knights take on the 4-2 Council Rock Indians right here on your station, North Penn Television. Hello and welcome tonight to picturesque Crawford Stadium, where the North Penn Knights are looking for yet another win to bolster their record against the talented Council Rock team. Hello, I'm Ken Myers, and alongside of me is my colleague G. Yoon. The seats are gradually becoming filled with anxious fans looking to enjoy what will prove to be yet another exciting matchup. Also tonight we have an added bonus as we have the pleasure to view the homecoming court and its potential king and queen. But before that, G, the Knights have to worry about a very talented and productive Council Rock squad.
That's right. They're coming into today's game with 4-2 record, and Council Rock is very productive on the offense, led by Matt Verbit at quarterback. Verbit has had many targets to throw to, including Schenk, Bedison, and Hodgson, and Bill Wellen and sophomore Jim Ratinsky. Council Rock racked up close to 200 passing yards last week against CB West.
Despite incurring a shutout to CB West, however, the Indians were able to hold the prolific offense to only 17 points. What does that say for the defense?
Well, Council Rock's fine defense is led by Rich Bedison, who's headed to play his college football at Virginia next year. Bedison is not alone as linebackers. Ethan Rock and Dave Wallace have also been effective as Justin Schenk, Chris Leonetti, and Mike Hodgson.
Well, G, talking about Dave Wallace and Rich Bedison, you look at the job that they've done to bolster the secondary against opposing teams. That's such an important fact, as we mentioned in past games before, be able to apply that secondary pressure not only on the passing game, but also on the rushing game. Mix things up, throw in a few cornerback blitz here and there, and provide tight coverage on the on the split ends. Now, unlike most high school teams, G, Council Rock is a more efficient and productive passing game than its rushing game. How can that affect an opposing team that has been centering much of its attention on the rushing game?
Well, as Matt Vervitt, he has many targets to throw to, and North Penn's going to have to adjust very well and have to fly around on defense, and the linebackers and the secondary is going to have a hard time covering that, and the defensive line will have to put a lot of pressure on Matt Vervitt and stop him from throwing to open receivers.
Now, when I look at Council Rock's quarterback, Matt Verbit, compared to Knights quarterback Clay Kucklick, I see two very intelligent, two very aware, very talented quarterbacks. But one thing that Matt Verbit has over Clay Kucklick, and not to put Clay Kucklick down in any way whatsoever, but Matt Verbit has an extremely strong arm, a super arm in this division. He's able to throw the ball with precise accuracy, get a good spiral, and he has a very hard pass, too. Of course, when you look at the caliber of quarterbacks in this league, including Clay Kucklick, you won't be in any short matchup for a good quarterback challenge.
But Clay Kucklick, coming off an injury to his arm, he's going to have a tough time, or we're going to see what's going to happen tonight.
In your opinion, what does North Penn have to do to immobilize the Indians' offense in tonight's game?
Well, to stop Council Rock tonight, North Penn will have to have a big game from their defense, putting pressure on Verbit and not allowing the Indians to get their receivers open. Council Rock will be looking to keep Heike Johnson in check, but we'll also need to keep an eye on tonight's well-balanced offense with its many weapons. We see another exciting game tonight.
Well, many times before, we've discussed the offensive line and its job in allowing teams to plug down the field, get touchdowns. But how important really is the offensive line against such a strong defensive front and secondary?
For any team, the offensive line is the core of the offense. Without the offensive line, the rushing game, the passing game will suffer.
Of course, this time North Penn injured players returning for today's game, notably Aaron Thomas, who's coming back from an injured knee, and Clay Kucklick, who's also coming back from a sprained left shoulder. Now, G, when you look at North Penn stars and the fact that they're healthy for tonight, how much does that really benefit this team?
Well, team moral is going to be up, definitely. With star quarterback Clay Kucklick and star running back Aaron Thomas, they definitely have more talent on the team than they did last week. And they're going to see Clay Kucklick pass more and give it off and control this offense.
Now, G, when you look at both teams and you compare them for tonight's matchup, what do you think will be the deciding factor?
Well, like I said before, it's going to be defense, and especially pass defense for Council Rock and the rushing defense for North Penn.
Okay, with that, we'll now go down to Dan Keene, who is on the sideline. Dan?
Oh, good evening, guys. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dan Keene, coming to you live from the sidelines. I'll be here with interviews from players, fans, and whatever I can during the game, whatever information I can give you. The air is tense here out in the stands. Many people are looking for a really intense game. Council Rock just came off a great game with CB West. Although they lost, I'm told it was a really awesome game as far as that went. As you can see next to me here, the teams are warming up, getting ready to go. And so with that, I'll be bringing you as much as I can. And back to you, Ken.
Okay, well, thanks, Dan. Well, in any respect, tonight's game will be a very competitive matchup. So we'll be right back with the opening kickoff between the Knights and the Indians.
Every week for the past 4 years, Stephanie has read stories to a room full of Savannah, Georgia preschoolers. Every week, the look on the children's faces is priceless. The love that Stephanie feels from every child has made her life a whole lot brighter. Even though Stephanie has never even seen their faces. To see how you can help in your community, call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
All kids have trouble staying within the lines. After the 3rd grade, it could be a sign of a learning disability. With the right help, most kids go on to do well in school. Call now to help your child manage his learning disability. There's no reason to be held back.
Less crime is no accident. Programs like mentoring, job training, counseling, along with after-school activities are keeping kids away from crime and crime away from kids. Look around. You'll see that kids involved in these kinds of programs are kids who are staying out of trouble. It takes you and programs that work. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT and we'll send you a free booklet. Call now and help take a bite out of crime.
Welcome back to Crawford Stadium, where North Penn will kick off to Council Rock Indians. West Highland will kick off.
West Highland with the extremely good leg, and he's proven it throughout the year. He's kicked a number of touchbacks. That's a very important factor in today's game, the special teams, being able to hold teams back far in their own territory.
Deep kick, and they'll return. Number 2, Bettison, with a return of 20.
Nice job by Bettison, of course, being able to break through the special teams there, put Council Rock in good position on the 30-yard line. All right, and as you look here, here's the offense for today's Council Rock squad. It's going to be Bill Weldon at split end, Rich Bettison at wing back, Justin Schenk at fullback, Chris Capola at running back, and, of course, the star Matt Verbeek at quarterback.
And 1st and 10, Verbeek back to throw. Completed to number 21.
Verbeek, of course, a highly touted young quarterback, getting looked at colleges such as Duke, coming right after him. Immediately starts out with a nice pass, and you saw last week. Break in here. Here's the defensive line, of course, for North Penn. They have Ray McKnight at defensive end, Brick Mengel Spurrier at defensive tackle, Fran Mahan also there, and on the other side, Bill Gill at outside linebacker, Steve Francis, with the other linebackers, Mike Capusta, Mike Moore.
2nd and 6, handoff to Capola, and he gets the couple.
Of course, it's not been Council Rock's game, which has been carrying them through this season. Of course, last game they rushed for negative 17 yards. They've been relying on the passing game, the arm of Verbeek.
It'll be 3rd and 2. around the 37-yard line. And shotgun formation. He's back to pass. Number 7. And pass broken up. Number 5, Sid Anand. He had an interception last game.
And that's what Coach Mike Penn's been trying to do, and that's what he wants to do here. Apply defensive pressure on the passing game, because that's what they know that Council Rock is so well known for. And, of course, right there, that time, Sid Anand coming up, making sure that Verbit can't get that pass complete.
And Council Rock unable to get the first. Will punt it off.
North Penn can continue to do this all night, then they will be in a very good situation throughout this entire game.
There's a snap. Almost blocked. Short kick. And Aaron Thomas will let that one go. And number 22, Jim Gallagher, will take that for Council Rock. And it'll be North Penn ball around the 25-yard line.
As you saw there, just the lack of defensive lineman was able to sneak right through the offensive line there and almost block that punt.
So Clay Kucklick will take the field.
Here the North Penn offense backs and receivers. Number 5 sitting on at split end. Aaron Thomas back from a knee injury. He'll start at wing-back. Mike Kapusta at fullback. And sitting on the quick side.
And there was a handoff to Heike Johnson. And he plows through for a 7-yard gain.
North Penn offense, the offensive linemen, big men, Matt Bargwin at left tackle, Bill Gill at left gill, Danny Chang left guard, Dan Chang at center, Chris McKelvey at right guard, and alongside him the surprising Chris Hamill at right tackle.
The twin towers of the right, Chris Hamill and Chris McKelvey. And quick handoff to Mike Kapusta. And he keeps on going to get the first. And it'll be 1st and 10 around the 39-yard line.
And you saw last week, let me break in right here with the Council Rock defense. Justin Schenk at defensive end along with Joe Donahoe on the other side. Luke Mathis and I did not say that. Chris Leonetti at outside linebacker along with Jason Harm. And the two big stars, Dave Wallace, Rich Bettison, at the linebacker position, along with Jim Gallagher, providing some experience at cornerback.
And handoff to Heike Johnson, and he's going to break loose to the right, and he gets tripped up, and he'll get the first.
This is a very good job by North Penn off the bat. First, they attack the offense by applying good defensive pressure from the secondary. Now they're starting to run the ball more. They're getting those rushes. They're mixing up plays, giving time to both Kapusta and Heike. And as you can see there, Heike Johnson turns it up after Mike Kapusta got that big first down of 11 yards.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for North Penn. And Aaron Thomas splits left. And Heike Johnson will have the carry, and he's open. And he'll get another first around the 35-yard line. So you see a lot of blitz coming from Council Rock, trying to throw off North Penn offense, but it's North Penn's handling it pretty well.
Oh, yeah, they're being able to pick up those blitzes very well. Heike Johnson's been running extremely well to the strong side. He's been able to turn it up outside and get those big games. As you saw, that last one was just 11 yards.
1st and 10 for North Penn. Inside handoff to Kapusta, and he'll pick up about 3. And it'll be 2nd and 7.
That time going to Kapusta again. He's a very reliable back. Not only is he quick, but he's also powerful, and he's very consistent as fullback. Of course, what North Penn has to do this game, stay warm. That's the key. Don't pull any muscles. Keep the shoulders of the quarterback warm and the legs of the running backs and wide receivers warm.
So Hakeem Johnson will get another carry, and he picks up about 5. It'll be 3rd and 2 for North Penn.
Heike Johnson literally plugging his way down the field here. You saw there, got 2 big gains, just picked up a gain of 5 yards. That's averaging excellent yards so far on only 3 carries.
Heike Johnson with 124 yards last week against Neshaminy, bringing up his total to 795 yards for the season.
And still he's behind one Pete Henning from Souderton High School.
Hand off to Mike Kapusta, and he'll pick up the first. Then it'll be 1st and 10 for North Penn. So North Penn very successful on the first 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, as you see there, they still haven't thrown one pass so far this game. They're still relying on that rushing game. They've been able to pick up 4 first downs now.
Now Dave Wallace and Rich Bedison are going to have to pick it up, try to shut down Heike Johnson.
It's a very important factor to get to that rushing game. Rushing game, of course, a very strong aspect of the North Penn Knights. They just also have a very good receiving game, but that rushing game is just the star quality of this team here.
It'll be timeout for North Penn. They're in the first quarter with 6 minutes and 42 seconds to go.
Of course, this is a crucial part. As they get inside this red zone, they must score on these plays. When they have the opportunity to score, they must complete these red zone conversions for touchdowns. It's a very crucial aspect. You cannot allow a team to stop you inside your own 20-yard line, because that's where the pressure really applies, is in that red zone.
First and 10 around 20. And North Penn and Council Rock 0-0.
Council Rock, as we said earlier, holding last week's CB West Bucks to 7 points in the first half. And that's a very notable achievement, especially with such a prolific offense as the Bucks have.
And North Penn will face CB West on November 5th.
The last regular season game, and it's a very important one, too. But probably their most important.
And 1st and 10 with Clay Kucklick at quarterback. Hand off to Heike Johnson. He tries to turn it outside. Nothing there.
Now we're starting to see a better appliance of the defensive schemes by Council Rock to stop the run of Heike Johnson, stop the rushing aspect of the game.
So it'll be 2nd and 10.
It's very important here that North Penn be able to pick up the defensive scheme of Council Rock, mix it up, throw in a few passes here, share time with backs.
So Clay Kucklick with a keeper running to the left. And he'll pick up the first with a pickup about 12. Heike Johnson with that motion drew a lot of defenders to him, and that gave Clay Kucklick open running path.
Very good offensive call there by Coach Mike Pettin in using Heike Johnson as the decoy. And then Clay Kucklick, nice job running to the weak side and picking up first down.
It'll be 1st and goal for North Penn. And North Penn is threatened to score here in the first quarter. And Heike Johnson gets tripped around the 5-yard line with a pickup about 2.
North Penn consistently applying pressure on the defense here offensively. As they're getting down the red zone here, they're really starting to plug, and that's what you have to do, wear out the defense deep in your own territory.
Kapusta, and he gets the touchdown. And the Knights are up 6-0.
As you saw last week, Kapusta with the, accounting for the touchdown for North Penn against the Redskins of Neshaminy. This time, receiving the handoff, running it through the middle as he does so well, breaking through the defensive line and for the touchdown.
Big hole opened by McKelvey and Hamill and Chang.
And that's an extremely important factor, too. You can't count out that offensive line, which is it has to be so sturdy in opening those holes and being consistent, because the back is nothing without the offensive line, no matter what you say.
Extra point attempt by West Heinel, and it's good. And that'll be 7 North Penn and 0 for Council Rock. And there you see the touchdown again. Like Kapusta in different angle. Kapusta just bulldozing right through.
And there you see the center Danny Chang and the right guard McKelvey, who does it so well at opening holes. And Kapusta had that bit of daylight, and you give him that and he'll squeeze right through, and obviously he did for the touchdown right there.
So both the defense and the offense of North Penn working pretty well.
Oh, absolutely. You saw there a quick time of possession there for the Indians of Council Rock, and then North Penn coming back, applying that offensive pressure, moving the ball up slowly, but might I add, with big plays, and getting into the end zone with fairly quickly, and that's important. That's what they have to do. Establish their dominance in the first quarter.
West Heinel will kick off. Bedison and Bill Wellen deep in territory. And Bill Wellen will take it around the 1. And he gets pushed back around the 10-yard. And he's going to feel that in the morning.
You saw there a
hit by number 44, Josh Ketchum.
And also Nick Lukens was in on the tackle there. Nice job by Nick Lukens and Josh Ketchum. Turner had no idea where he was able to go. And
so Council Rock with a bad field position.
And that's, as I said before, an extremely important factor. Be able to push that ball up. They're way back now. It's going to prove difficult.
And Verbit with a pass in the middle, and intended for Bill Wellen, and incomplete.
You saw there again the pressure by the defensive tackles.
So Verbit trapped in a cul-de-sac, and then nowhere to go but throw it away.
And as I said, nice job by Brick Mangle-Spurrier and Fran Mahan applying that pressure on the quarterback. That's what they have to do this game. They really have to come in with the blitz aspect, disrupt the quarterback, and they obviously did there as he threw the pass behind his intended receiver.
Mike Colonello and Steve Francis are going to have to look at those short passes, and that's what Council Rock likes to do.
Absolutely. Matt Verbit can just drill the ball in there. He can find those tiny crevices. I was watching him earlier in practice. Very fluid motion, very tight spiral on his ball, and pinpoint accuracy. But apply that defensive pressure, and he won't look too good.
It'll be 3rd and 10 for Council Rock at the 10. And it'll be a bootleg pass, play action to number 43, Justin Schenk, the senior fullback.
So nice job there, G. As you see, immediately Chris Verbit recognizing the pressure on him, getting it out to Schenk. And as you see, North Penn, they're throwing in a lot of nickel packages, mainly because of the passing options that Council Rock has in this game today.
And they'll bring out the chain gang to see if he picked up the first.
Gee, this is going to affect the Council Rock game, or the Council Rock team extremely, because of the fact that it is getting cold here. It's much colder than it was expected over the weather. And those balls can get extremely hard. They can get rock hard, in fact, and they can be hard to catch. So the receivers have to keep their attention and concentration on the ball the whole way.
And they're going to call it short of the first down, about 6 inches. And they're sending in Chris McKelvey and number 97, Ray McKnight, and try to stop this Council Rock Indians from getting a first down.
I think that's a very good call by the defensive coordinators, Dick Beck, in bringing in McKelvey. Obviously, you will probably see either a halfback draw, fullback draw, and that's what they have to do. Apply the pressure up front, the defensive front up there, not allow the Council Rock to pick up that first down.
And 2 wide receivers. And Schenk in the backfield. And they'll call a timeout. And you saw it right there. They try to draw the defense of North Penn off sides.
Oh, very good discipline by the defensive line there. That's extremely important to be able to, and it's such a crucial situation here. It's 4th and 1. You cannot allow them to pick up the first down on a mental error.
And Council Rock seems like they're going to go for it.
Now watch for Council Rock. Normally you'd probably expect a draw of some kind, but I would not be surprised if they mix it up and throw in the passing scheme here. Try to throw a wrench in the works of the defensive secondary.
They could always go for a quarterback sneak with Matt Verbeet.
Matt Verbeet, though not known quite for his speed, more so for his arm, but it could be possible.
And it seems like they're going to punt it off. Matt Verbeet's going to punt it.
I think that's a wise decision there by Council Rock. Don't risk anything, especially when you're this deep in your own territory. You're just outside the red zone. You cannot afford to turn over that ball.
And high kick and short, and it'll go out of bounds around the 50-yard line.
Of course, as I mentioned earlier, also, along with the fact that the ball is hard as a rock, it's going to be extremely hard to punt, get that good control out of. And on the other side of the ball there, the receiving team must concentrate, focus on catching that ball, not let it get loose, keep it tight in your arms, tucked in.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for North Penn around the 46-yard line of Council Rock Indians. And handoff to Heike Johnson. He cuts inside and picks up about 7. And there's a penalty marker on the play.
I think you're probably going to see there by where it was called. You could possibly see an offensive holding, offensive holding, and that's what it's going to be.
And that'll cost North Penn 10 yards. And that'll be 1st and 20. Oh, it'll be from the spot of the penalty. No, it'll be 1st and 20. So 1st and 12 for North Penn. Heike Johnson picking up around 8 yards on the last carry. And with that holding, it'll be pushed back 2 yards from the line of scrimmage.
It's very fortunate if Neshaminy can try to force the penalties by North Penn. That's not really a forcible penalty, but maybe draw them off sides a couple of times.
I mean, basically, you can have a holding call on any play.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what I was saying.
It just depends on how tolerant the referees are. And Heike Johnson carries for 2 yards, and will be 2nd and 10.
So far, we haven't seen North Penn pass at all one time. Clay Kuckler, as we said, coming back from an left arm injury, sprained arm. But Coach Penn hoping to wear down the defensive line and test the secondary of Council Rock by rushing the ball more frequently than passing, which they've done through the entire year there.
And handoff to Heike Johnson. And he gets planted.
Yeah, now Coach Mike Wortman is starting to realize the rush by North Penn here, and he wants to kind of throw the defensive scheme in here on the rushing plays. Get Heike Johnson up front instead of having the secondary rely on getting him, and they've been doing it pretty well. Council Rock has.
It'll be 3rd and 9. Clay Kuckler back to pass. He has Heike Johnson incomplete off the hands of him.
Yeah, as you see there, right off the hands of Heike Johnson. Nice pass by Clay Kucklick. Heike Johnson had to adjust a bit to get his hands on that ball, but basically a nice catch. And a catchable ball, but as I said before, extremely hard to catch in this cold weather. And Heike Johnson not wearing gloves for this game.
So it'll be 4th and 9 for the Knights, and John Corson will punt it.
Very important that John Corson establish good punting game here. As they saw him early in practice, he was booming his punts and getting nice spirals off.
And about a 30-yard kick out of bounds, and Council Rock will have it around the 32-yard. It's about 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Knights are up 7-0.
So as you see there, Biden Chamonix not getting that good punt off earlier, that in turn forced them to be deep in their own territory.
And Verbit in shotgun.
As opposed to the fact that they had punted it a bit better.
Pressure. A little screen pass to number 29. Incomplete.
You saw there, again, I said you must keep your focus and attention on catching that ball, looking in your hands, and not hearing footsteps, as they say. But first, knowing that you have control of that ball, tucking it tight in, and then worrying about who's behind you or who's going to pancake you in that matter, because it was an HB screen.
So 2nd and 10 at the 33-yard line. And it seems like a false start call.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a false start call. It looks like it's going to be on the right guard, Jim Price. And so it is.
So that'll push back Council Rock Indians 5 yards. Only 2nd and 15 at the 28.
Obviously, false starts are clearly mental mistakes, because you should have the idea of what your quarterback's going to call on the snap count that he has.
And Verbit in motion. And pass completed. And he picks up about 12, and it'll be 2nd and 3.
There you see another example of Verbit's extremely strong arm, in fact on the run, and he just guns it in there. And that's why this kid is being looked at by so many Division I colleges, noticeably Duke, who has a strong eye on him.
So Marching Knights getting the crowd excited with their loud music.
Can't even hear myself think of here, gee.
So Council Rock picks up the first. It'll be 1st and 10.
Now to Chamonix, starting to get its grooving a little bit better. Of course, there just before you saw Verbit throw that 12-yard pass, and then
Pitch to Bedison.
the first down, of
He
course.
cuts inside, and he has an open path. Heike Johnson dives at his legs, and he brings him down with a pickup about 20.
Council Rock, as I just said earlier, beginning to feel its rhythm. Nice job, of course, first by Verbit in throwing that nice pass. Then in the running back Capolo and picking up the first down, and then as you just saw, you saw that big rush.
Like I said before, Ken, both of these teams have great offense, and defense of both teams are going to have to do a stellar job to prevent any team from scoring. And good pressure by North Penn, and number 1 Verbit scrambles and picks up about 1.
There you see there the defensive line applying the pressure, which they've been doing so well this entire season, forcing Verbit to scramble, and that can be very disorienting for a quarterback to have to scramble and try to make a play on his own. And if North Penn continues to do that, it's going to be a very important factor in today's game.
And that's the end of the first quarter, and the Knights are up 7-0. So in the first quarter, you see Knights running a lot.
Oh yeah, obviously only one passing play, which was incidentally incomplete by Clay Kucklick. But so far, they've been using the two backs, Heike Johnson, who's proven to be big so far in this first quarter, and Micah Bristol, the sturdy, consistent back who has the only touchdown for North Penn. Of course, though, the rushing stats for Council Rock, again, kind of mirroring what happened last week. They only have they have less than 10 yards rushing so far this entire game.
So it has been all pass for Council Rock.
Verbit initially having trouble, and not entirely his fault. He had some problems, though, as he was assaulted by the defensive line on a couple of plays and had to force some throws. Receivers couldn't hang on, but then we just saw back there, nice pickup of 12 yards. Started off for Verbit. Very important that he established a passing game, which he did so well last week against a very stingy defense, such as Central Bucks West.
So it'll be 2nd and 8 for Council Rock at the 35-yard line. And shotgun formation with Verbit. And there's a throw. Long launch and incompleted.
Verbit again, nice job up front by the defensive line.
Intended for Bill Wellen on that play.
Yes, nice job by the defensive line and applying that pressure. Verbit knew that he had people right on his front door there. He just threw that ball up and hoping to for the receiver to come down with it, but obviously that didn't happen. And if North Penn keeps doing that, forcing him to make those throws, they could come up with some big picks here.
And there's another pass, and almost picked off by Heike Johnson, intended for Bedison.
There you see there, that was close to a 30, or excuse me, that was about a 20-yard pass where it would have been from where he threw it. And, you know, there's another example of a strong arm. You don't see that many times when a high school quarterback can throw it on a straight line to his intended receivers 20 yards away, Jay. So you can see why this kid is such a highly touted quarterback.
So bring 4th and 8. And they're going to pass with Verbit in the backfield. And almost picked off again. And incomplete. Intended for Bill Wellen. So North Penn will have the ball. 1st and 10 around the 35-yard line.
In some respects, that fact that
there was a flag on the play against Council Rock, and Coach Penton will decline.
Of course, there you see the incomplete pass by Verbit. In some respects, that fact that North Penn, Aaron Thomas, could not hold on to the ball might prove to be a plus for them if they can get either a block punt or a miss punt here, a bad punt on the play. Oh, excuse me. No, I don't know what I'm talking about. I turned it over here. Late night for me tonight.
So Knights will have a 1st and 10. A handoff to Heike Johnson. Heike Johnson cutting to the outside and picks up about 6.
Heike Johnson doing what he does so well. Cutting out to the outside, totally faking out those players. Initially looked on that play like he was going to go through the middle. Obviously, a very intelligent back saw that the defensive line was not allowing any holes through the middle, so he cut it outside quickly and picked up the 1st down. This is what makes this kid such a complete running back.
Five-man front for Council Rock, and handoff to Heike Johnson, and he'll pick up about 12 on that carry.
Again, nice job of Heike Johnson. Also, very good job of the offensive line, who was able to open up that hole and allow him to get through. So you've got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line tonight, who's been doing an excellent job being able, as you saw right there, that big hole. So Heike Johnson was able to get right through and pick up a game of 12 for
There's another angle. There you see that big block on number 99. And Kapusta with the inside handoff. And he's going to pick up about 1 yard on the forward progress. So it'll be 2nd and 9 around the 45-yard line.
Council Rock trying to figure out this complicated scheme that Coach Penn has been working on this entire week in practice.
So Zach Thomas, brother of Aaron Thomas, in at split end. And Matt Gill lined up around the wrong side, so he'll shift to the left. And Clay Kuklick unable to get the handoff.
I think, again, you're going to see a holding call on North Penn. Clay Kuklick, of course, slipping as it gets extremely cold in here. The grass starts to get very wet.
A lot of confusion
or
for
very
North
slippery,
Penn.
excuse me.
There you can see again. Seemed like a handoff. It was fake, and Clay Kuklick slips. Brought down.
It's very important to be able to get that footing. Here you see one more time Clay Kuklick faking the handoff and then trying to keep the ball turning outside, but slipped. Then you saw a holding on the offense.
So it'll be pushed back 10 yards from the spot of the tackle. And that'll be 2nd and 20 for North Penn. Clay Kuklick, the quarterback draw. And he'll pick up about 1.
As you see there, North Penn trying to use Clay Kuklick this time, trying to mix up the give time to all the backs. And really, basically, the plan here is to try to throw the defense off.
So it'll be 3rd and 18 around the 45. With 4 receivers for North Penn. All on the right side and 1 split to the left. So it's definitely going to be a quick pass, and it's to Heike Johnson, and only about 2-yard pickup on the pass.
Of course, you see there, North Penn, Coach Penn knows how strong that Council Rock's secondary is. Of course, led by the 2 linebackers, Dave Wallace and Rich Bettison, the all-purpose player. And he just doesn't want to risk it in maybe a botched play or a misthrown ball, especially with such a talented core of linebackers and defensive backs.
So John Corson with a big punt.
North Penn again showing its dominance in the special teams, getting right down there, not allowing for any big returns here. And basically throughout the season, you have not seen any big returns by any of the teams.
You saw Jason Alcott on the punt, and he was going downfield, and he almost got the returner.
Jason Alcott last week literally leveled the returner Brittingham for Neshaminy.
And there's a penalty marker on the play.
Again,
as the screen play doesn't work.
Again, you're going to see a holding call, I bet you, right here. North Penn applying that defensive pressure. Of course, not allowing a lot of time for Verbit to really plant and set and throw the ball.
So the false start for Council Rock, and that'll push him back 5 yards, and it'll be 1st and 15.
Oh, excuse me, a late flag throw on that play. Normally you'd expect to see
Actually,
a
that
holding.
penalty was declined, so it'll be 2nd and 10 around the 22-yard line. So Landis, Heike Johnson, and Aaron Thomas doing a very good job of defending the pass.
I think that's a wise decision in declining the false start. They don't want to give Council Rock any added opportunities, of course, with that big play offense. I'm not going to get very many short passes. If they're going to get any any completions at all, they're going to be fairly long.
Quick pass to Ryan Shuck, and he'll pick up about 5, and it'll be 3rd and 5 at the 27-yard. You saw that 5-man receiving team. There you see. And Ryan Shuck just turns and gets the pass. Good defending by Steve Francis. And there you see another 5-man receiving. There's a pass into the middle, and unable to handle by Bedison.
Bedison noticeably upset with himself on that play. It was, however, thrown a bit behind him, but it still was a catchable ball at that matter.
So that'll bring up 4th and 6, and they'll punt it away. So Matt Verbit, punter and a quarterback.
Just an excellent job so far by the defensive line in not allowing Neshaminy to get too deep in any of their territory. In fact, they've only passed in one of their drives so far, past the 50-yard line one time.
About 30-yard punt goes out of bounds, so North Penn will have it around midfield.
Again, North Penn establishing that good field position, which is so important. That's the foundation for a good drive.
So far, you haven't seen the explosive offense of North Penn yet.
No, you haven't yet. Of course, though. Well, you have, however, seen a few good rushing pickups here, but you haven't seen a lot of consistency so far. You've seen some good plays, and then there's been plays where they've just literally gone nowhere. But that can also be attributed to the consistency of the defensive line.
Well, Heike Johnson will split, and Clay Kucklick looks to pass. Heike Johnson right there and slips, almost intercepted. And the grass is not a friend of Heike.
No, it's not. It's not a friend of any of the receivers tonight, or the rushing running backs. As you saw there, again, another slip by a receiver. That was a very well thrown ball by Clay Kucklick, not able to be held on by Heike Johnson, however. And as you saw there, Clay Kucklick with the play action pass rolling out to his weak side. And then very nice throw. Heike Johnson, however, slipped.
Almost picked off by Ryan Parrish, number 4. There you see the close angle.
Heike Johnson, from that angle, as you saw, did have it in his hands.
And Heike Johnson gets the handoff and picks up about 12. Brought down by number 44, Dave Wallace.
So far in this first half, Heike Johnson has a total of 66 yards on 9 carries.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for North Penn.
So that's about averaging about 7 yards per carry.
So John Schilling in, which seems like a run here. And it'll be to Mike Kapusta in the middle. Or actually, Clay Kucklick, play action to Mike Kapusta and goes to the outside, and he picks up the first.
And this is what Clay Kucklick has become so adept at doing. He worked so extremely hard, spending the extra time in practicing his running skills. Of course, as we've mentioned many times before, he lowered his 40 times by over 1/100th of a second. And then that time it proves, and very nice job in Clay Kucklick in picking up a few added yards by jumping over to the defensive back.
So 1st and 10 for North Penn. And handoff to Heike Johnson. And he gets nowhere.
Yeah, Council Rock read that absolutely perfectly. They were right in there for the stop. High Key had no place to go on that play.
So North Penn once again knocking on the doorsteps of Council Rock. It'll be 2nd and 10 for North Penn. Heike Johnson.
And there you see
Slips.
it. There you see it again there, G. Slips again.
And they'll spot the ball 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage.
And because of the fact that earlier there's a very high dew count, of course, because we just had rain over the past few days. And then when it starts to get cold, the field literally starts to become like an ice sheet. A sheet of ice over that grass, although it cannot be seen, it's there. And obviously it has affected this game so far.
So timeout North Penn.
Unfortunately, North Penn not having the option to switch to a deeper cleat. Right now probably using a 1/2-inch cleat. It would be very helpful if they could go to a 1-inch, but unfortunately they cannot do that.
About 5 minutes to go here in the second. And stay with us when we go to break a second as we bring you the Homecoming Festival.
Do you see there an abundance of crowd to support the North Penn team? It's probably one of the most exciting games that they've come to so far this year in terms of team quality. Of course, Council Rock, a lot of people coming out to see the quarterback, Verbit, and so far put on a pretty good display, at least with showing off his arm strength.
So Clay Kuklik showing no signs of injury. And he does a very nice job of controlling the offense here in the first half.
Yeah, I definitely think he's 100% over that shoulder injury. Of course, that won't really affect his game, although it proved to be a nuisance.
So 3rd and 11. Bunch right. Clay Kuklik tries to pass. Incomplete.
Yeah, that was just misthrown ball there.
So it'll be 4th and 10.
Simply enough.
And it seems like Coach Penton's going to go for it. Or is he going to try to put Wes Heinel in?
You saw earlier Andy Wimmer and Mike Basher trying to sell their rowdy rags, as they call them, out to the fans of the high school North Penn Knights here.
So 4th down and 11. And Coach Penton's going to go for it.
North Penn has no lack of fanfare here.
So shotgun formation for Clay.
As you watch this play develop, you'll see.
And Clay's going to take it, and he's going to get stopped, picking up with a pickup about 2, and that'll be a turnover. It's a great defense by Council Rock.
Yes, you see they're hoping to maybe get some receivers open here, but again, you see another very good job by the secondary and not giving Kuklik any options, and therefore he's forced to run the ball and with no success. Steve Francis, as you see on your screen, number 45, just an excellent player and hard-working guy. He's come up through here. Didn't start initially in the season, but has proved himself as an extremely effective linebacker and all-purpose player. He's also a receiver, tight end
Handoff
on the offensive side of the ball.
with a loss of about 5. So that'll be 1st and 13. Or 2nd and 13 around the 26-yard line.
Yeah, as we said before, Council Rock coming in this game had negative 17 rushing yards last week against Central Bucks West. But they have shown some proof of strength here as they ran a few nice rushing plays earlier in some of their drives.
Verbit back to pass. He has 22 wide open. And Aaron Thompson pursuit gets him down. And that's why you need speed on the secondary.
And there you see it right there. Verbit dropping back for the pass, throwing it absolutely perfectly with extreme pinpoint accuracy and with that very hard throw. North Penn had no options as number 22.
Jim Gallagher,
yeah, also the defensive back on the other side of the ball. There's here on the instant replay. There's the extremely strong throw there.
About 30 yards run after the catch with a gain of about 50.
From the other angle, you see Verbit just throwing it so nicely into Gallagher there.
And it'll be a handoff.
And they didn't have a lot of defensive backs around him to stop the play.
So it'll be 2nd and 9.
So now in court, Council Rock trying to incorporate new backs in here. You just saw there they gave the handoff to Gallagher. But fruitlessly as the defensive line again stopped him for only a gain of 1 yard.
So Matt Verbit in shotgun passes again, and number 21 is wide open. Jim Rednitsky, the sophomore.
And of course, when you incorporate extremely talented wide receivers such as Council Rock has, an extremely talented quarterback can prove to be deadly. And of course, the passing game can always be much more effective than the rushing game. And in this case, it is here for Council Rock, and it has been so far.
When you have much passing weapons, as Council Rock does, it doesn't matter how many receivers you have. He's going to still pick one of them and throw it.
And so far, he's been able to do that. But with credit to the wide receivers who've been doing quite a fine job of shaking their defensive backs and getting open.
Another pass, a little slant to the inside. Incomplete.
And that was almost a perfectly thrown ball. Nice job by Verbit in anticipating the receiver's motions there. Just threw it a bit low though, but it was still could have been caught.
Last pass intended for Corey DeForest. It was a catchable ball, but unable to bring it up.
Bit low throw, but still catchable. You're right.
About 3 minutes here to go in the first half, and the Knights are up 7-0. 2nd and 10 at the 13. With a pitch to Bettison. Tries to cut inside. Picks up about 1.
And it's very important here that North Penn be able to go into the locker room at halftime, not only with knowing that they've been able to keep Council Rock scoreless so far, but also in the fact knowing that maybe the fact that they could go into the halftime locker room with added points on the board. I mean, 7-0. It's a good score, and it's supported to go into halftime with a shutout. But of course, it's not going to preserve a win.
Council Rock threatening to score. Verbit back to pass. Incomplete. Intended for number 23, Chris Capola, the running back.
As you saw there, excellent job of the defensive back in being able to eliminate Capola out of that play. Although it was a very well thrown ball by Verbit under pressure, the defensive back was still able to keep right on his tail and keep him from catching in the ball. And that's what it's going to take, some tight coverage, man coverage in this game.
Mike Rubini with the extra point attempt. And it's good, the field goal for 3.
No discretion this week. You're not going to see any hand motion good, motion bad.
So smart thinking by Coach Ortman of Council Rock, attempting the field goal rather than going for a touchdown.
It's very important. Don't risk it against such a stingy defense such as North Penn. They've been proving so far that they're not going to give Neshaminy a lot of room to work with. And so Council Rock doing the smart thing, going for the easy field goal in that position. Now North Penn has the opportunity to strike quick. It's very important that they establish a good start off here in the special teams. Of course, when you've got two great runners such as Aaron Thomas, who's healthy back from a knee injury, and then Mike Landis alongside of him.
So Mike's Matt Stapleton will kick off to either Heike Johnson or Mike Landis of North Penn.
Coach Mike Pettin said over the past week that they had a much smoother week of practice this week. Defensively, things are going well. And he said that today's game, on defensive-wise, is going to be a huge
An
test.
onside kick, and it'll go out of bounds, and that'll be a penalty, illegal procedure.
So North Penn will take it on their 42, of course, on that illegal procedure.
Now, when you attempt an onside kick, you usually want a low rolling kick on the ground, and you want a couple of big bounces.
Now, I think they were hoping to. You're absolutely right, but I think that what Coach Ortman was trying to do there is maybe put a little backspin on the ball, get the ball high up, and then have it hit, and then maybe bounce back in favor of Council Rock. But obviously, it didn't do it that time, and instead went floating out of bounds. And of course, that's going to again provide North Penn with another advantage at striking before halftime.
So 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. And North Penn is up 7-0 or 7-3.
Again, we're seeing another defensive stalemate here. Last week we saw Neshaminy holding North Penn to only 8 points at the end of the half. And then, of course, North Penn turned it up, not allowing any second half points for Neshaminy.
And it seems like a delay of
increasing
game.
their score to 29. Yeah, gee, that's what it's going to be.
Delay of game, North Penn. And that'll be a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 1st and 15.
Now that takes that awareness there. And in a situation like this, motions start to run high, things start to pass through your head, but you've got to know when to call that timeout. Of course, North Penn with the opportunity to call the timeout, but that forces them back 5 yards.
So Clay Kucklick with to wide open Zach Thomas. Incomplete.
There you saw Clay Kucklick faking the handoff and then trying to go deep to Zach Thomas there, unsuccessfully, however. Nice throw by Clay Kucklick, but just not, Zach Thomas just not able to handle that ball, and so he dropped it. It's very important here for North Penn to be able to establish a passing game, especially throughout the second half. It's going to prove to be very crucial that they do that, especially
and hand
now
off to Mike Landis.
That the defensive line is starting to pick up the schemes here.
Mike Landis on the carry.
To carry about 2. They'll be 3rd and 13.
Mike Landis, an extremely tough kid, hard worker. Played with him in 9th grade.
One of the fastest guys in the league.
Oh, absolutely. You wouldn't expect it from him. He's a very strong kid, too, but he's extremely fast. And that makes him such a good defensive back, too.
So handoff to Heike Johnson, who breaks it with a pick of about 10.
So that time you see Heike Johnson there turning up inside.
And Dan Chang is on the ground holding his knee.
And that can't be a good sign. As I said earlier, because of the cold, it's very possible that you have a greater likeliness to sprain or injure joints. And that time you saw Dan Chang do it right there. And that's one thing Coach Patton said that they have to avoid to have an extremely successful season, and that's injuries. And so far, they've had a fairly low count of injuries, which has been good.
Dan Chang, the center for North Penn.
Yeah, Dan Chang, an extremely tough kid. I don't think you'll see him walk off the field for too long unless it's a serious injury, which it might prove to be. That's the last thing we want now. He's been such a consistent, stable player as center.
It would be nice to talk to our reporter down on the field. We can get in contact with him.
Of course, now with halftime winding down here, only 1 minute and 11 seconds. This can prove to be a deterrent if you have such an important factor such as Dan Chang has been, go in and hurt himself like that. And you might see if Dan Chang is not able to continue his play in this half, which it looks like he won't be, you might see Jason Alcott come in for him.
And Dan Chang walks out with the help of his teammates, and he'll walk off the field.
Hopefully it's not too severe of an injury and he'll be able to play. He came down on his knee. I've done that before.
It will be Jason Alcott who will be taking center in place of Chang.
Alcott, of course, as we said earlier, the long snapper. He's done an excellent job at center, and it was a close matchup here. It was a close battle throughout the season.
So it'll be 4th and 2 for North Penn. With about 10, Council Rock. An unexpected Chris Hamill jumps off, and that'll be in favor of Council Rock.
And that's very important here again. As we're reaching halftime, we see 2 penalties. Of course, the first one, delay of game, now a false start on Chris Hamill, the right tackle.
Now Coach Penton's going to attempt a punt with John Corson.
As you're heading down the halftime, of course, their last fourth down conversion was unsuccessful. Smart call by Coach Patton, deciding to punt that ball off.
Punt to Eric Blair, and he's stopped by Jason Alcott.
Again, you see the dominance of Jason Alcott. Earlier in this game, he stopped a special teams return. And last week, of course, as we mentioned so many times, it's so vivid in our memory, just literally smashed Brittingham of the Chamonix Redskins. And then this time immediately getting on to the punt returner on that play.
So Eric Blair unable to get anything on that punt return. And Council Rock will have the ball around the 20. And they'll just down it. And clock ticking down.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that play here. Don't risk anything here.
And that'll be end of first half. So we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be right back for the homecoming festivities right here on North Penn Television.
If you're in a fire, don't try to put it out. It's your job to get away.
To report a fire, always go to a neighbor's house and call 911.
Or your local emergency number.
Ask a grown-up what number you should call.
Don't hide, go outside, get out the door and run. You gotta race to a neighbor's place and dial 911. Be cool about fire safety.
If you took away a star for every 1 million people who didn't vote, and a stripe for every 5 million non-voters, and a patch of blue for the 10 million people who didn't care, exactly what kind of flag are we waving?
Hello and welcome back here to Crawford Stadium, where the convertibles are lined up holding the potential kings and queens of the homecoming court are walking out now. And so let's listen into the festivities here alongside with Crazy Legs, Richie Kincaid, and Sarah Omer, who will be emceeing this event. So let's just listen in for a bit here.
Was nominated by members of the senior class and selected for the court by a vote of our juniors and seniors. Members of the court were showcased at a school assemblies on Wednesday, and the entire student body voted this morning for our king and queen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to introduce to you our 1999 homecoming court, composed of 7 male and 7 female finalists. Within the next few moments, we will crown our homecoming king and queen. Our first female court member is Miss April Budd. She is being escorted by Mr. Warren Dean. April was involved in the National Honor Society, African American Awareness Club, and the Key Club. Out of school, April participates in the NAACP Youth Council and the National Society for Junior Black Engineers. After high school, she would like to go to an out-of-state university. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss April Budd.
Our first male court member is Dave Beagle. Dave is being escorted by Andrea Solis. Dave is involved in career study with Mrs. Kinsey in the English department. He works at Acme as a custodial artiste. After Dave graduates, he would like to attend either Delaware or Bloomsburg University, majoring in education. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dave Beagle.
The next female court member is Miss Sandy Chubb. Tonight she is being escorted by Mr. Tim Lanzan. Sandy is president of the senior class, a member in the National Honor Society, Key Club, Latin Club, and plays on the girls' basketball team. After graduating, Sandy would like to go to college and become a children's cardiologist. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sandy Chubb.
Our next male member of the court is Sagar Bhatt. Sagar's escort is Elizabeth Jin. Sagar is the president of the North Bend Student Government Association. He is also a member of the National Honor Society and the boys tennis team. After high school, Sagar would like to attend a good four-year university. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sagar Bhatt.
The third member of our female court is Miss Kelly Kennedy. She is being escorted by Ryan Malva. Kelly is a part of the National Honor Society, Wind Ensemble, and Chorus. She is also on the girls' tennis team, runs winter track, and plays soccer. After high school, Kelly wants to attend a liberal arts college and possibly study anthropology. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kelly Kennedy.
Our third member of the King's Court is Mac Casey. Mac is being escorted by Maggie Casey. Mac is in the Student Government Association, plays on the school's basketball team, and is the opinion editor for the Night Criers. After high school, Mac would like to go to college and then write TV sitcoms. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mac Casey.
Our next female court member is Miss Renee Riccardi. Renee is being escorted by Mr. Tim McKenna. She has participated in the Spring Track and Field Special Olympics as a buddy. Renee also travels to Blue Belt every day where she participates in the work-study program. After high school, Renee plans on attending a four-year college and majoring in computer science. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Renee Riccardi.
Up next is Heike Johnson. Heike is being escorted by Rachel McNally. Heike is currently a member and co-captain of the football team. He also plays basketball and sometimes runs track. On the weekends, Heike works at Wawa as a cashier. After breaking all sorts of sports records here at North Bend, Heike plans on attending the University of Virginia on a full athletic scholarship, studying criminal justice with hopes of becoming an FBI agent someday. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. High Key Johnson.
Our first female court member is Miss Lindsay Rogers. Lindsay currently plays for the girls' field hockey team. She also finds time to participate in the National Honor Society, Tea Club, and the Jewish Culture Club. Lindsay also works part-time at Freddie Hill. Her goal is to be accepted into Hofstra University and major in communications. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lindsay Rogers.
The next male homecoming court contestant is Chris Maylock. Chris's escort tonight is Megan Heath. Chris is an active participant on the boys soccer and volleyball team. He is also a member of the Inter-Club Council. After high school, Mr. Maylock plans on attending Northeastern University and getting a degree in business. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Maylock.
Our next female court member is Miss Terry Romano. Tonight, she is being escorted by Mr. David Hartzell. Terry participates in career studies, helping out at Lone Farm Elementary School with the special education classes. This fall, she is also involved in the athletics training program. Terry is also a member of the girls' varsity lacrosse team. After graduation, she plans to go to college and major in interpretation and special education. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Terry Romano.
Our sixth member of the King's Court is Mike Moore. Mike is being escorted by Allie McGilway. Mike is the co-captain of the football team and plays baseball for North Penn. He is also a member of the Future Business Leaders of America. After graduation, Mike plans on going to college, graduating, meet that special someone, have kids, and grow old. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike Moore.
Our last female court member is Miss Lindsay Simpson. She is being escorted tonight by Mr. Jared Campbell. Lindsay is vice president of the SBA as well as chairperson for the Interclub Council. She is currently the co-captain of the cheerleading team and participates in accolades. Lindsay also works part-time as a bagger at Clemens Market. After graduating from North Penn, Lindsay plans on going to college and becoming a social studies teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lindsay Simpson.
Our final male of the evening is Jerry Clement. Jerry is currently a section leader and president of the March of Dimes. He is also involved in the National Honor Society and this year's vice president with Special Olympics co-chair. In addition, Jerry is a member of the German Club, Inter-Club Council, World Affairs Club, and SAG. After high school, Mr. Clement plans on going to college and majoring in either biology or psychology. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jerry Clement.
At this time, please welcome back to North Penn High School our 1998 homecoming king and queen, Mr. Tony Caliano and Miss Jillian Lang. Tony returns to us from Shippensburg University and Jillian from Bloomsburg University.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our second runner-up for homecoming king is Mr. Dave Beagle.
Our second runner-up for homecoming queen is Miss Renee Riccardi.
Our first runner-up for homecoming king is Mr. Chris Maylott.
And our first runner-up for homecoming queen is Miss Lindsay Simpson.
Our 1999 homecoming king is Mr. High Key Johnson. By North Bend High School Principal, Dr. Vincent Cotter. We would like to thank the Homecoming Committee for their work, the Council Rock High School Band for relinquishing their halftime activities, Ball Rental for the donation of tuxedos, and the following individuals for donating the cars for our ceremony. Mr. Michael Casey, Mr. Nick Mascotti, Mr. Grant Boson, Ms. Leslie Regal, Ms. Kim Starrett, Mr. Martin Whitmer, Mr. Jake Molishin.
Following tonight's game, all North Penn High School faculty, alumni, and fans are invited to remain in the stands to hear a full performance.
Yes. Okay. All right, well, congratulations to High Key Johnson and Lindsey Rogers, who, Lindsey Rogers, of course, winning the homecoming queen, and Heike Johnson, the homecoming king. So congratulations to those two. All right, we're gonna take a short break here and come back here with some halftime analysis right here on North Penn Television, Channel 16.
You don't have to like me.
Or you can. You don't have to be my friend.
But you might like me if you got to know me.
You don't have to be my roommate.
I am gonna be your neighbor. You don't have to run with me.
You really don't have to run away from me.
You may not like what I have to say.
But hear me.
Hear me.
Hear me out. Man, we're not all that different. I like good food.
Good music.
I love my mom. Yeah, I want to fall in love.
Madly. I want a good job.
I want my kids to live in a world
where they're safe and loved
and respected for who they are.
You don't have to like me, but if you talk to me,
you might.
We can end prejudice if we talk to each other. Call.
Welcome back to Crawford Stadium, where the Knights are leading Council Rock Indians 7-3 here in the third quarter. And North Penn will receive to start the second half.
And so far through the first half, G, you've seen a dominance by both defensive squads, just as in last week. And, of course, last week we saw a change in the tune of North Penn as they came out blasting and increased their lead to 29.
Little second quarter rally by the passing offense of Council Rock, able to put some points on the board.
Yeah, that was very important. You know, if they can continue to do that throughout the game, give of course Verbit doing an excellent job at picking out his receivers. He made some nice throws. Some of his passes, however, were dropped that should have been caught and might have led to a better situation here. But however, Council Rock has been doing an excellent job offensively and defensively, for that matter, only allowing North Penn on their first drive.
So Matt Stapleton with the kick
to get a touchdown.
And Landis will take it. And He breaks loose, and he gets dragged down around 45-yard line. An excellent field position for North Penn Knights.
Yeah, and it's been evident throughout this entire game, G, as North Penn has been continuing to force a good field position, which has actually been helping them on the defensive side of the ball, because some of their plays, although they haven't been going too far on, some of them haven't been picking up enough yards. However, they still have been able to, when they've gone to punt the ball off, to allow themselves good defensive placement of the ball.
Now, you saw that wall when Mike Landis returned it, and he had a big opening.
Yeah, a nice job of adjustment by the special teams, defense particularly, at getting over and setting up that wall and allowing Mike Landis to get outside and turn all the way up to the 45-yard line.
And carried by Mike Capusta will give 2nd and 5 for North Penn.
It's very important here that North Penn again establish their dominance in the third quarter. Can be a real pick-me-up if they can score right here.
And they give it to the homecoming king, Heike Johnson, who gains about 10.
This has to be some added emotion for Heike Johnson. This has to, of course, win the homecoming king festivities. This has to be an added boost to him, both emotionally, which translates, of course, onto the field. There you saw for his first carry there, picking up the first down immediately, which could actually prove to be a benefit for the North Penn Knights here.
That's right. Him becoming the homecoming king shows how much support he gets from the students of North Penn High School.
Absolutely.
And they'll give it to Capusta again, who picks up about 5. Oh, 2nd and 5.
Now you look at North Penn this season. This is the year for them to shine. They've come off, of course. These seniors have played with Coach Mike Pettin throughout his entire head coaching career. They've really learned his system. They played together for most of them played together for 3 years. They know each other in and out, and they love each other, and they play well with each other.
And they're going to give it to Heike Johnson, who gets none on the carry. Now, there's about 30 or more seniors on this team, and as you said before, they played since sophomore year together, and that has a lot to do with team unity.
Oh, absolutely, and it's going to be a shame not to look too far ahead, but of course, at some point you're going to have to face the reality that these guys will be gone next season. And as Coach Pettin said last game, he's going to have to pull out the depth chart and see what he has to work with. But of course, it's going to be an irreplaceable group for now.
Heike Johnson on the carry, picks up about 1, and that'll bring up 4th and 4.
I think you're going to see here that Coach Penn is going to mix up the defensive scheme. You see him bring in now number 91, Fran Mahan, and also number 6, Zach Thomas.
And they're going to go for it around the 34-yard line.
Won't be surprised here if you see play action screen. And then now you see Heike Johnson in motion, of course. Let's see what happens.
And Clay Kuklik with a quarterback draw. Very close to first. Doesn't seem like he got it.
Hopefully. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to pick that up. You saw there the fake handle of quarterback keeper.
Now, as you saw in earlier plays, the absence of Dan Chang, he seems to have gotten a helmet on his knee, and he seems to be out of the game.
Yeah, and that could prove to be a very important factor in today's game, not having Danny Chang there.
Council Rock
stable.
Going straight to the pass. Wide open. Bedisum unable to handle the ball.
And that's a shame. Mike Verbit has been throwing some extremely good passes today. And unfortunately, the receivers are having trouble holding on to the ball. But right there, you saw a perfect pass. It was just simply dropped, just simply took his focus off the catch there.
So 2nd and 10 at the 31-yard.
this is also what makes North Penn so good, is their intimidation factor. These teams come in knowing that they're according to the Inquirer high school poll, that they're second in the state. That's intimidating when you see that on paper.
And there's a rushing attempt by Bedsom, and he picks up about 8, and it'll be 3rd and 2.
So initially, Coppola as the starting running back. Now they've been using Bedison, who is, and you can just tell how good this kid is. At 6'1", 222 pounds, all-purpose back. He can play everything. He's just excellent force out on the field, and it's going to be unfortunate to lose him along with Verbit.
And quarterback sneak, and it seems like the first.
Of course, there you just saw some words by Dogs the Ripper Francis with number 1, Matt Verbit.
Doesn't seem like he got it.
And talking to Matt Gildy last week, he said that there was a lot of trash talking going on between the Chamonix and North Penn, and I went down if you saw it tonight.
And they'll bring in the chain gang to measure if they got the first. It seems short from him. Now, you saw on the last replay the downfield blocking of Council Rock wide receivers.
Yeah, that's very important, of course, that the wide receivers be able to get that downfield blocking, especially if the back is able to pass through the defensive line. Get those wide receivers out there, be able to block the secondary, and hopefully open up a big play for the backs.
So it'll be 4th down and about 6 inches for Council Rock.
It's very important here that Council Rock get this first down. This could be a turning point for them.
With a long snap count. Once again, trying to draw them off. And there's a false start. Now they're going to have to punt it off.
No, the exact opposite. That's complete irony. Of course, hoping to draw the defensive line off, but just so well trained and disciplined not to do that through repetition of Coach Mike Penn. And there you see mentally mistakes going to the heads of the
Matt Average on the false start. Now Matt Verbit to punt it. And almost blocked. And another long high punt out of bounds around the 34.
You don't see many times quarterbacks being used as punters, but we saw here in North Penn High School 3 years ago with Tommy Pierantozzi.
That's right, Tom Pierantozzi, the punter, the kicker, and the quarterback.
Yeah.
And also outside linebacker.
Yeah. Came in handy. It's a very good aspect to have those all-purpose players.
No.
Sometimes, they have their own niche, though.
Tight formation, handoff to Heike Johnson, who cuts to the outside and picks up about 3. And that'll be 2nd and 7.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens when Heike Johnson goes off to University of Virginia, what they're going to do with him. If he shows some potential in the secondary, they might put him out back there as a safety, and he might prove to be an extremely good defensive back.
Now, also, Rich Bedison, the number 2 of Council Rock, is also committed to Virginia next year.
So we have some likeness of character here, and not friends now, but maybe friends in college.
And Heike Johnson through the middle.
Years.
Picks up about 20 on that carry and giving the Knights first down.
Again, good offensive job by the offensive line at opening up the holes and allowing Heike Johnson to break through the line there again, which he's been doing so well. Mostly attributed to the offensive line. That means a lot, and that can mean the difference between a running back success.
He breaks about 5 tackles on that carry. And you know why? Division I schools want Heike Johnson on their team.
Yeah, and he can make the big plays, just as you were saying earlier.
Inside handoff to Mike Kapusta, who picks about 1.
We've seen an excellent job by Mike Kapusta over the past few games. A lot of times, of course, last game we saw him carry North Penn throughout that Neshaminy game and start that sudden burst, which allowed them to come out so strong in the second half. Maybe it'll be Heike Johnson this time, and he's been showing it so far.
So double tight end and 3 backs. Run formation. And Heike Johnson will take it, and he gets tripped up. Well, he picks about 4 on that carry, and that'll bring up 3rd and 5.
You see here, differently from last week, Coach Penton is going from the rush more so. Last week, Joe Talise inclined to throw the ball often and made some nice throws on the run, but of course, unfortunately, he made a few mistakes. But you know, what can you say? He's an excellent quarterback, and sometimes that'll happen.
It seems like Coach Penton is trying to wear down this defense of Council Rock by running down their throat. And Heike Johnson picks up about 5 and close to first, and it seems like he got it. And that's a 1st and 10 for North Penn.
And right there, you just probably saw one of the most important first downs as you're starting to head into field goal range here. You just see Coach Mike Penton continuing to bash the defensive line with the rushing plays, mixing it up using Clay Kucklick on some carries along with mainly Heike Johnson and using Mike Kapusta.
Now the big linemen of Council Rock are going to wear out as time goes on. And Heike Johnson will have the advantage. And Heike Johnson on the carry up gains about 2 yards.
And going back earlier to the comment about staying fresh and alive, of course that's what Coach Penn has instilled in his players so well, is that endurance, and that can mean the separation between an excellent team and an average team, is that endurance, being able to stick it out through those 4 quarters.
Another double tight formation for North Penn. And they're going to give it to Heike Johnson up the middle. And that'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Again, Heike Johnson using him, picking up those yards ever so diligently. Starting to close in on the red zone here. Right now, this ball definitely is in field goal range for West Heinel.
West Heinel, of course, with a strong leg, with about 12 touchbacks this season. An inside handoff to Mike Colinello, unable to pick up any yards.
You see there Heike Johnson in motion, faking the handoff there, and Coach Penn trying to mix it up, hand it off to Mike Colinello, but with no success as the defensive line immediately picked it up.
There you can see the play. Heike Johnson in motion with Mike Colinello getting the inside handoff called the wing buck, unable to pick up anything. Good trick play. Good counter move. An inside handoff from Mike Kapusta here. But Clay Kucklick with the play action. Number 14 goes into the end zone for the touchdown, and that'll add 6.
And that was right there. You see probably one of the most crucial plays there. That touchdown right there. You saw there Clay Kucklick on the quarterback bootleg.
This is what you talk about when you see Coach Mike Penton play. Coach, he always draws the defense in and makes them expect a play, and he just does a totally opposite thing. There you saw the play action fake to Mike Kapusta, and with Clay Kucklick just going around the outside and going in for the touchdown, and West Heinel with the extra point.
And when you see this on replay, it'll be evident here how what North Penn did to throw a wrench into this defensive Council Rock team. And
that's also called a hammer hammer formation for North Penn.
And there you see there, of course, Clay Kucklick faking the handoff inside, which ever so slightly drawed that defensive line over to the weak side, allowing Clay to come right out also with praise to the offensive line as they were able to keep the Council Rock Indians inside there, allowing Clay Kucklick to get outside and, of course, score for the touchdown.
So Knights up 14-3 here in the third quarter, and West Highland will kick off.
And when you see here, G, and you look at Coach Penn, it's his conservative play and his that is well bred through his father, of course, who's one of the best coaches that I've ever seen in the history of high school football, of course. Then you see Coach Mike Patton, and he has the same desire and that same coaching skill that his father possessed and still possesses right now. And of course, it's proven here, ever so plugging away here at this Council Rock defense, and of course it proved with another score.
Bedison on the return picks up about 10, and it'll be first and 10 for Council Rock at the 20. So Mike Yeager in for North Penn.
This is crucial for Council Rock to have a successful drive here to really stay in this game.
Another pass attempt to Jim Gallagher, unable to complete.
Again, you've seen it throughout the game. Verbit has been making excellent passes. He's been putting the balls right in the hands of his receivers, but unfortunately they have just not been able to hold on to the ball. That's very important that Council Rock start to focus their attention on those passing plays, especially for the wide receivers. Concentrate on the throw, looking into your hands, and tuck it in, and then try to make the play from there.
5 receiver formation. Quick outside pass to number 7. Number 12, Corey DeForest.
DeForest
picks up about 9.
That's very important right there, that passing play.
There'll be timeout for North Penn.
Gee, so far you've seen Council Rock continuing its passing dominance. However, though, it hasn't been working, unfortunately, because of nice throws by Matt Verbit, however, but because of the fact that the receivers haven't been able to quite hold on to that ball. But, of course, you can see the overwhelming talents of Matt Verbit.
So North Penn up 14-3 here in the third. And 3rd and 1 situation for Council Rock.
NPTV will broadcast tonight's game with a tape delay basis about 10 p.m. tonight.
I think it's important for Council Rock here to use up a timeout, get focused on the task at hand, and that's moving up football all the way into the end zone. Score. It's very important to not only pick up the first down here, but to get some more points on the board.
So with the quarterback sneak, and they pick up the first. There you see Clay Kucklick, the dominant leader of North Penn football.
Yeah, that was done quite simply by Council Rock, just the quick QB draw.
Quick handoff, nothing there. Another shotgun with 5 receivers. There's Verbit. Quick inside pass to number 21, Jim Granitsky, the sophomore. Has 2 receptions so far.
You see Mike Moore frustrated on that play, giving the "what's up, coach." So nice coverage by Mike Moore, but as I said earlier, Matt Verbit has such a pinpoint accuracy. He was able to throw it right into his receiver there. Number 21, Jim Renitsky, who is the only sophomore starting wide receiver on the team.
So 3rd and 9 for Council Rock. And Verbit going again to shotgun. And overthrown for number 22, Jim Gallagher.
Verbit, of course, North Penn mentally getting to these Council Rock Indians, as you saw Verbit kind of throw that as though he was being pursued by one of the defensive linemen, but in fact he wasn't. He had plenty of time to throw the ball.
So they'll punt it off.
And he threw that off his back foot and incomplete.
To awaiting Aaron Thomas. High punt. Oh, and Heike Johnson will let that roll out of bounds. So North Penn will have the ball at their own 32. So Ken, what do you think? I mean, how do you think Council Rock is handling the situation so far?
Well, Council Rock, as you saw in the first quarter, came out very dominant on the defensive side, allowing only 7 points. So far, they've looked fairly good, but defensively, but offensively, they've got to turn it up. They've got to use their weapons more frequently and with more effectiveness.
Now you saw the passing formation of Council Rock, and they're not even showing the run. And the defensive Knights are doing very well defending it. What do you think the coach of Council Rock's going to have to do to turn it around?
Well, I think now he's going to tell his players, all right, the passing game, your quarterback's been throwing you good passes that you've got to hold on to, you've got to concentrate. And, I mean, it's frustrating for a coach to watch perfect passes go in and out of the hands of the receivers. So that's what he's going to try to tell his receivers. Focus your attention entirely on that ball. Don't try to make the play before you have total control of that ball. And, now looking at Clay Kucklick down there, conversing with Coach Mike Penton, this kid just totally loves football. It's just a complete passion. Of course, his brother got full scholarship to Wake Forest, was a star quarterback for Hatboro Horsham, went on, got signed by the Oakland Raiders. Unfortunately, went through the league with unsuccessfully. He's a very extremely good quarterback. Now he's heading over to his NFL Europe, of course, and Clay Kucklick always walking around the hall spinning his ball.
Now we have a Dan Chang update of the injury he had earlier, and Dan Keene standing by on the field. Dan?
Thank you, Gene. Yes, I'm here with an update on Dan Chang, who was injured, as you remember, in the second quarter. I spoke to one of the trainers, and they said that he took a helmet to the side of the leg, and it is bruised, and he's sitting until halftime, and they said they'd reevaluate him at halftime, and I believe he will be out for the rest of the game, but he is expected to recover by next game. Again, that's number 53, Dan Chang from the North Penn Knights. Back to you, G.
And Heike Johnson on the carry, picks up about 3 yards, and that'll bring up 3rd and 2. And on the tackle was Dave Wallace.
Dave Wallace again. Last week or a few weeks ago against CBEC, he had 21 tackles, filling in for that week for the injured Rich Bettison. It came into play inside linebacker, made 21 tackles, and so far the coaches said, hey, let's put this kid at inside linebacker because he showed a lot of potential against them.
Michael Pusta picking up the first down.
You can't say enough about Mike Kapusta. He's just such, as I mentioned so many times before, and you can't emphasize enough, he's such a consistent back. Whenever North Penn needs him, in close situations such as that first down just was. He's able to pick up those few yards, fight his way, and get the touchdown. He's very effective in that manner. And hopefully have a very successful career in college.
Hand off to Heike Johnson. He has wide open sideline. And he gets hit out of bounds around the 40.
Heike Johnson again.
There seems to have been a flag on the play.
Let's see what happens here. And as I expected, it's going to be holding. Oh, excuse me, no. It's going to be clipping.
And that'll be a personal foul. And we'll see how many yards they're going to take. It may be 15, it may be 10. And let's see that one more time.
As you see there, looked like Heike Johnson had the open hole. And there, I think you saw right in there, one of the offensive linemen. I can't quite pick it out. Look, it might have been Mike Kapusta, though, who looks like he blocked below the legs. And that would be definitely a personal foul.
It just seemed like he was trying to block, but the defender just turned around and he wasn't able to stop.
And good call by the referees.
And Clay Kucklick being wrapped up.
Now that is a huge penalty that they had to incur right there. Of course, Heike Johnson breaking out. Looked an excellent run right there. And then, of course, that penalty totally negates the entire play and sends them all the way back there. There you see there, Jay, the bot snap. Nice job of Clay in coming up with that ball and still managing to pick up a few yards on that play.
Now Knights with 5 receivers. And Kapusta in motion. And very bad communication between quarterback Clay Kucklick.
Absolutely. That was just totally miscommunicated there. As you saw, looked like Clay Kucklick was...
Council Rock player down. Can't quite make out the numbers here.
Clay Kucklick kind of shaking his arm, and he's holding his wrist down there. But more importantly, there's a man down on the field, and he's obviously in some kind of pain.
Now let's see that one more time. And you can see right there that he was just piled on by North Penn players.
And you saw there Clay Kucklick coming in. I think he was probably expecting to roll out to possibly throw the ball. And then you see there Heike Johnson coming in, expecting an off tackle as it looked. But obviously it wasn't, and Clay Kucklick got banged around there. But
it's very unfortunate to see young players get injured in this kind of games. But we have the trainers at hand ready to take care of the players that are injured.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. You never know what's going to happen when you see him lying to the ground. And the player on the ground, his motions are going through his head. He's wondering what's going to happen to him. And will this possibly be season ending?
It'll be 3rd and 16 for North Penn. And the trainers are still looking at the players. Council Rock player unable to get up right now.
After we get through this call here, with a 3rd and 16 situation, you might see Coach Mike Penton here go from the shotgun and possibly try to pick up a play on that, but we'll see.
Now with the injury, we're going to take a little break. And so we'll be right back to Crawford Stadium.
I hang out with a pretty trashy circle, the circle that helps this circle. It starts when we recycle trash at home. It's completed when we buy products made from recycled materials. Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. Complete the circle.
Call 1-800-CALL-EDF for your free Buy Recycled shopping guide. 1-800-CALL-EDF.
Every day I try my best to meet the challenges that come with doing the toughest job in the world. If I fail, the consequences could be serious. That job isn't being president, it's being a parent.
And today, with drugs and all the other pressures facing our children, it's tougher than ever to be a good parent. It's a job that none of us can do alone. That's why 350 wonderful organizations have come together to create the Coalition for America's Children to help parents raise good kids.
The Coalition knows hundreds of ways you can help. Whether you're a young adult who can serve as a role model for troubled teens, or a retired person who can supervise an after-school program, the Coalition can help you get involved, right in your own community. We hope you will contact the Coalition soon and find a role that fits your schedule and your interests. You can make a difference. Thank you.
Welcome back to Crawford Stadium. That was Josh Steinberg that was down on the injury, number 29, who has played a solid game for Council Rock. Unfortunate to see him go off the field. And the Knights will have third and very long of 18 yards to go at their own 36-yard.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate, Jay, to see a young player like that go down. And you don't know what's going to happen
And
so far.
Play action fake. Clay Kucklick back to throw and has Doug Servey wide open, and he drops it. Doug Servey unable to bring it in.
And as you might expect, and as I said earlier, possibly you see the play action pass there, and there it was, but fortunately, very strong throw by Clay Kucklick, but underthrown for Doug Servey. And he had to come back to the ball. Still a catchable ball, though.
There you see Clay Kucklick back to throw, scrambles a little bit, and wide open pass to Doug Servey, just unable to get any traction on the field.
And we've seen it throughout tonight. Players, receivers coming up short, not being able to handle the balls.
Corson with a long kick. And he fumbles it, and it'll be North Penn ball. Number 5, Eric Blair, with a mishandle on the punt.
And that was just an extremely huge turnaround factor for the North Penn Knights.
And it was Jason Alcott, the special team specialist.
Again, coming up with that huge hit. He's like a freight train coming through the yard without any brakes. It did make sense.
The receivers for neither team working out, but the special team for North Penn, just unbelievable in past 2 games. You see there.
And
number 97, Ray McKnight, picking up the fumble.
And as I said there before, G.
Another pass by Clay Kucklick. And it's incomplete.
And, G, as I said before on that last play, the North Penn brings that intimidation factor, and you saw it right there. Returner Eric Blair expecting or hearing the footsteps from Jason Alcott and literally just bounced right off his hands.
There you see Steve Francis, one of the best linebackers.
Yeah, one of the
North
most
Penn.
ferocious linebackers. He's like a dog out there. Get in his way, and he'll, on the football field, he'll rip off your head. But actually a very nice, calm kid, collected.
Heike Johnson on the carry. He picks up about 1.
Of course, you see this evident with a lot of players, notably in the NFL, I think of Bill Romanowski, and of course his counterpart on the field, Bill Gill, the offensive lineman. And you see they're very calm and collected outside, very nice person to talk to. And when they get on the field, it's a totally different attitude. Watch out.
So 14-3 here in the 4th quarter. Knights have a pretty decent lead, but it's still anyone's game. So Clay Kucklick in shotgun. Checks his receivers. Has time. He throws right to Heike Johnson, who picks up the first.
Good job again. Good job in awareness by Clay Kucklick, able to pick out Heike Johnson. Nice throw. Heike right to him, and it was easy as that for the first down.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Knights around the 23-yard line.
Won't be surprised to hear an old familiar name, Mike Kapusta, being used as the Knights approach their the goal.
So handoff to Heike Johnson, who takes an angle approach, and he picks about 5 on that. And that'll be 2nd and 6. Or 2nd and 5.
So Heike Johnson again being used. Nice pickup on that carry, 5 yards. Nothing to be ashamed of on that.
Now the red zone offense of North Penn will take control.
And then you see most notably the difference in the offensive line.
Handoff to Heike Johnson, who does a spin and gets down around the 2-yard line. Unbelievable run by Heike Johnson.
Yeah, and gee, you see it there again, as I was just saying earlier. Bring out the stacking the offensive line there, proved right there. Heike Johnson had no problem getting around the defensive line and picking up those big gains on the play.
Now the goal line offense for North Penn. They're going to try to pound it in with Mike Kapusta here. And Council Rock senses that, and they have about 10 guys on line, and it goes to Mike Kapusta and goes in for the touchdown, and the Knights are up 20-3.
Again, as I said earlier, I won't be surprised to hear that old familiar name, and there it is. As they were approaching that goal line, gave it to the reliable back Mike Kapusta, and he was able to just romp in there.
So West Highland will attempt the extra point, and Dan Chang is back in the game.
And as I told you, this kid will just not lay down and die. He's a fighter, tough kid. Got right back in the game here.
And missed extra point attempt. John Corson holds the ball, unable to get it off.
Yeah, you saw there John Corson mishandling the snap, which calls for the fact that West Highland was not able to get the PAT.
So it'll only be 20-3 lead over Council Rock for North Penn.
Now, as the fourth quarter winds down, it's starting to become a bit bleak again, as you would say, for this Council Rock team. It's going to take some quick wits and big plays here.
So let's take a quick update from sideline reporter Dan Keene. Dan?
Thank you, G. I'm here on the sidelines once again with an update on the Council Rock player Josh Steinberg, number 29, who was injured. I spoke to one of the trainers, and they said that he injured his fibula and possibly may have also twisted his ankle. It could be broken, and he may be out for a while, possibly the rest of the season. It's Dan Keene from the sidelines. Back to you, G.
Unfortunate news for Council Rock. Josh Steinberg, unbelievable player. The senior 212-pounder. And there's a fumble on the return.
I think that you're going to see Council Rock, and they're going to retain possession of this ball.
And they're going to dig that out of the pile. And let's see how they rule it.
No.
And it'll be North Penn ball.
There, you see that effort there.
Unbelievable turn of events for North Penn. There you see the kick.
Council Rock evidently,
number 22, Jim Gallagher, hit.
Yeah, Council Rock
hit by number 44, Josh Ketchum, seems like. Or it may have been Mike Shover, unable to tell on the replay.
And in fact, it was Mike Shover on that hit and popped it out. Again, this is going to be proved. It's going to prove to be the grave marker for Council Rock right there. That was just so important. to retain possession and drive down and get that score. And unfortunately, they didn't do that. And it looked as though at first, G, that the punt returner, Eric Blair, had control of that ball. Or, excuse me, number 43, likewise, Justin Schenk, who was on top of that ball, but unfortunately, North Penn ever so consistently fetching it away like a mad dog.
So North Penn special team paying off big time. And here Mike Kapusta will push through and picks up the first down around the 4.
Yeah, again, you see there North Penn relying on the power of Mike Kapusta. And he's such an important factor as North Penn approaches their own goal line. Or, excuse me, the opponent's goal line.
6 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter, and the fans are not leaving the stands. As, of course, you know, Ken, that there is a dance going on in the cafeteria right now.
Yeah, no one really cares, though, because they want to see the rest of this football game. I mean, these fans love football out here. A lot throughout high school sports, you've been seeing a decline in interest, and it's been a shame. But not here at North Penn High School, not throughout
and
this
Clay
division.
Kucklick will turn outside, and he has the open lane. And touchdown, North Penn. And he'll add another 6-2 North Penn score.
Well, first time Clay Kucklick heading out to the strong side. Opposite time, we're heading out to the weak side for a second rushing touchdown again. As you see, again, that was totally credit to the offensive line, who knocked off the defensive line, and the defensive line therefore was unable to take down Clay Kucklick, and he literally waltzed into the end zone.
Special teams may be overlooked, but in this game, this clearly has been a factor for North Penn.
Oh, absolutely. And it's been a shame because Council Rock has missed many opportunities on some plays that could be converted into
there you see Clay
successes.
Kucklick play action, and he turns it outside, and unable to catch up was number 98, Chris Leonardi, the junior 170-pounder of Council Rock.
Yeah, of course, Clay Kucklick just being able to improve his time that much might have caused for the difference between making the touchdown and getting tackled around the goal line.
And Wes Arnold will add another one with the extra point attempt, which was good.
Wes Heinl, of course, in the beginning, he's mainly had the job of the place kicker position. But now again, Coach Mike Penton's growing confidence has allowed him to fill the role also that he obtained last year of steady field goal kicker and point after a touchdown kicker.
Long kick. And seemed number 21, Jim Renitsky, the sophomore with the return, picks up about 15.
Yeah, Renitsky, the only starting wide receiver, as I mentioned earlier, on the Council Rock squad.
Now North Penn is up 27-3 with Clay Kucklick's touchdown run. And Knight's got to be happy about this lead.
Oh, absolutely.
And little quick pass to the outside. And on the stop was Sid Ananda and Heike Johnson.
Council Rock now has little time to do any damage, if at all.
Now they're going to do hurry-up offense here with 4 receivers. They're going with the shotgun offense you've seen all day long.
Yeah, I mean, I have not seen
long high pass,
teams.
Overthrown. Good coverage by Mike Landis.
Yeah, I've not seen many high school teams throughout the season go with the shotgun as much as Council Rock has, and that can be attributed to the fact that their passing game is just so intensely strong, especially compared to that of their rushing game.
So it'll be 3rd and 4 for Council Rock. And they go to that shotgun formation again. There'll be another pass attempt. And there's the blitz coming by Mike Moore and caught by number 12,
and
Corey DeForest.
And that was absolutely picturesque. You saw there Mike Moore had a handle on Verbit, his strength and size, and he was able to just throw that ball without even taking a step, and he absolutely bulleted in there to his receiver.
Matt Verbit.
Corey DeForest.
Matt Verbit getting it away.
That was a beautiful pass.
And now he'll take off. And he gets brought down by Mike Colonello.
And you see there Verbit, not the speediest guy on the field.
Now you cannot always over pursue a guy because he can just take the inside and make you miss, and he's going to take off.
Right, exactly.
And there'll be another shotgun formation. And he's going to take off. And number 22, Mike Yeager, brings him down.
Along with number 33, might I add, Mike Moore, who is followed right behind him. Mike Moore and Mike Yeager. Of course, Mike Moore, you can't say enough words for that kid. Such an intense player.
There you see the blitz coming.
Actually, it was Mike Moore, number 33.
Mike Yeager, good job, and Mike Colonello slides out of bounds so he doesn't get called for a penalty. And good rush by Dan Brown.
And that immediately is ruled good call by the referee, and immediately ruling that an incomplete pass. Of course, Dan Brown, excellent pursuit of the quarterback, but however, Verbit was able to get that arm in motion.
Now you're seeing a lot of middle linebacker blitzes, blitz up the middle, pressuring the quarterback right there with Dan Brown.
And talking to Coach Penn, that's what he has been adding into his defensive scheme here. A lot of secondary blitzes, and so far it's proven to totally disrupt this passing game.
So not much time for Council Rock to even consider coming back in this game.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Right now it's pretty much out of reach for Council Rock, unless for some reason everyone on the entire team gets injured. That's not quite going to happen.
I don't think we should be saying that on air, Ken.
I know. Not to put Council Rock down. All right. Not to discourage Council Rock in any way, but what I was basically trying to say.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for North Penn. So the Knights taking control of the offense with 27-3. And basically has the win for tonight.
Yeah, you see
and
here.
Joe Talise going in, replacing Clay Kucklick.
Good opportunity for Joe Talise to come into this game. Of course, he did an excellent job at carrying North Penn throughout the time span in which Clay Kucklick was injured.
So Joe Talise, the time he has been in, the last 2 games, William Tennant and the Chamonix, he has thrown for over 140 yards, 149 to be exact, controlling the team very well and leading the team to 2 victories with the absence of Clay Kucklick.
Yeah, and it was very important. And as a backup quarterback, that's what you have to do, step it up. And Joe Talise did that, and obviously was able to lead his team to 2 very successful victories, including a shutout against William Tennant 2 weeks ago.
Now you see many of the reserves going in for North Penn. Joe Talise and Clay Kucklick, clearly the best pair of quarterbacks you can possibly have on a team, with the speed and the strength of the both of the quarterbacks.
Absolutely. Clay Kucklick providing that excellent awareness, excellent intelligence, and extremely good arm. And Joe Talise also providing that swifty speed, strong arm, and good awareness on the run, and especially as evident as we saw last week on the scramble. He's able to make some nice conversions on scrambling plays.
Joe Tulise, very mature as a senior now. And we'll take control of North Penn's offense, 3rd and 4. And they're going to hand it off to number 21, Janos Voida.
Nice job of Janos Voida. Council Rock had him initially looked like he was wrapped up in the beginning, but he was able to break it back inside, pick up those extra yards on the play. And this is a very important evaluation period for Coach Mike Penn to be able to see some of his reserves and what they can do.
Now, and number 76, or
that was Chris Hamill. He slipped there. It looks like he, first of all, false start, and then he just lost his footing and slipped.
There's Obi Ananya going in.
Obi, of course, the very charismatic back. Very nice kid to talk to.
And they'll hand it off to Obi Ananya, but he is unable to pick up any.
Yeah, very good job up front by the defensive line. Immediately watching the run there, and is able to stop Obi Ananya from picking up any gain.
So Mike Yeager goes in, and Janos Voida checks out. Jeff Wolf in for center. And Obi Ananya at halfback. And pitch, a missed pitch, and Obi Ananya unable to recover. And it'll be Council Rock ball.
Yeah, I think that was just basically game jitters, of course. Obi Ananya seeing some action here. And for him, he hasn't seen much throughout the season. Of course, that just kind of comes with some nervousness on the field. Fortunately, though, it's probably not going to affect the outcome of this game in any way.
Let's see Obi unable to pick that ball up. So Council Rock has a pretty good field position with Verbit with a long high pass, and he catches it, and that's a touchdown for Council Rock. So mistake of North Penn will give Council Rock 6 points on the board.
Yeah, beautiful pass there by Verbit to his receiver number 7, Bill Wellen.
But only 41 seconds to go.
Senior.
Only 41 seconds to go. They're not going to be able to do anything here.
Yeah, unfortunately not. But you can't say enough for this the Council Rock team. They came out here fighting. They did an excellent job defensively. They just showed a lot of their young talents, and a lot of their offensive weapons that they have, including their defensive weapons. And it's going to be a shame for them to see these players leave.
So Jim Renitsky will hold. Maybe you can see a little fake here. They got nothing to lose right now with only 41 seconds to go. It's basically North Penn's win.
I doubt though, G, that you'll see any kind of fake. They'll probably just play it easy, go for the extra point.
And you're right, Ken. They go for the extra point, and it's good. So it'll be 27-10, North Penn lead. And there you see again the long high pass.
Very good job of at Verbit. His receiver was defensive back was actually kind of caught in the middle of the receiver and put it up quite nicely for his intended receiver, number 7, Bill Wellen.
Sid Anand turned around a little too late to see the pass.
And we have a helicopter flying directly over us, making an extremely loud noise.
And everyone's looking up.
Seems like the cheering squad here. The airborne squad of cheerleaders.
maybe, Ken, or maybe not.
You'd be a little surprised if you saw some people jumping out there with parachutes.
So stay tuned after the game when we bring you the North Penn Television postgame wrap-up with me, G. Yoon, and Ken Myers, and Dan Keene on the field.
Now, a fan yelling down, there are 10 players on the field, and it's evident that right now, but it's evident that there, in fact, is 11 on the field that they're going to attempt.
An onside kick, and there's a big bounce that you want. And as I mentioned before, that's what you look for in an onside kick. That big hop at the end.
That time the kicker was able to get a very nice angle and a very nice hop on that kick, which allows Council Rock to regain possession of that ball.
So North Penn first squad comes back, and they refuse to give up any more points.
Yeah, Coach Penn, he doesn't want to put a mark on that record of his, 1.8 points per game, before the fact that he gave up 6 last week.
So 1st and 10 for Matt and his offense. And another long pass taken out with a hard tackle by number 22, Mike Yeager.
You saw their nice job of the defensive back in covering tight on his receiver. You saw there a bit thrown to the other side by Verbit, but it could have been caught, but it was otherwise it was very good coverage by the defensive back on that play.
35 seconds left on the clock, and it seems like Coach Mike Pettin's going to be happy about this one.
Oh, absolutely. As he said last week, this is one team that he really has to worry about.
And there's the blitz by Mike Moore. The wrecking train, or whatever you call him. He'll do it.
And last week I was telling you about the shirts, and he decided to put a tank on a shirt. And he is like a tank over there, rolling through the defensive line.
He may not be the biggest guy, but he is one of the guys with biggest hearts, playing this game with all his heart and soul.
And, of course, a couple years ago, he wasn't even sure if he was going to play football anymore. And he had left early to play fall ball and pursue that.
And that'll end the game here at Crawford Stadium. And North Penn Knights are victorious over the Council Rock Indians, 27-18. And we'll be right back for the North Penn Television postgame wrap-up right here on North Penn Television.
What would you do if you had to choose between the buffalo and the giraffes? Between a flower or an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a million-year-old beach? Between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Would you make the right choice? Would there be a right choice? Now there's a way to help. Not just one, but all these things. EarthShare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with. Ask your employer about workplace giving.
Welcome back to Crawford Stadium as North Penn Knights beat Council Rock Indians 27-10. Along with me here is Ken Myers, and I'm G. Yoon for the North Penn Television postgame wrap-up. Now, Ken, how do you see the game develop in the beginning?
Well, in the beginning, of course, we saw North Penn. It looked as though they would break it out through this game, scored a touchdown instantly. throughout the first half, though, Council Rock employed extremely good efforts on the defensive side, not allowing North Penn to score any points. Of course, Council Rock then coming screaming back with the field goal. But again, it looked like a last week situation, close in the first half. Then in the second half, North Penn broke it open with those touchdowns and put this game out of reach for the Council Rock.
So another W for Coach Pettin here at North Penn, and he is getting one step closer to the goal and the dream of this team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he has the roadblock of CV West to incur at the final game. But I won't be surprised to see some tables turn on November 6th.
Now you see Coach Pettin giving a little speech to his team. Now, Coach Pettin forced the rushing game into effect by giving it to Heike Johnson a lot, then sometimes missing it up with Clay Kuklick's option around the outside, which gave Knights another 7-point lead in the third. And you gotta credit the offensive line, the running backs, the whole team for getting this victory.
Oh, absolutely, and they came up against a very stingy defense that held CV West, as we mentioned before, to 17 points last week. Came out here, rushed the ball extremely effectively, using the talents of Heike Johnson, mixing up, using the increased ability of Clay Kuklick, and picking up those 2 touchdowns, of course, and then using the ever so consistent back Mike Kapusta.
Now, Council Rock putting up a very big fight to stay alive in this game, but unable to catch up to the stellar offense of North Penn. And North Penn just dominated the second half, and Council Rock unable to swim back out.
Yeah, what can you say? Again, it was a repeat of last week. Coming out of that locker room pumped up, and of course they turned it up again and proved to be too much for the Council Rock team.
Seems like all the players are headed for that party in the cafeteria, and Council Rock's going to go home with a loss, which drops them to 4-3, and it's gonna put them out of the reach of the playoffs. Now let's go down the field to Dan Keene, who's standing by with Coach Mike Pettin with the win.
Thank you, G. I'm Dan Keene here on the sidelines with Mike Pettin. Mr. Pettin, I want to ask you a couple of things about your strategy tonight. Council Rock is mainly an air team, from what I heard. They do a lot of passing and stuff like that. Was your strategy changed at all as far as defense goes?
Oh, definitely. I mean, a lot of games coming into this one, we'd been in a 5-man front because we played basically teams that were run-oriented. But with a team like this, you got to make adjustments. You try to line up in a 5-man front against a team that throws it all over the place, you're going to be in trouble. So we mixed up the coverages tonight. We rushed 3, dropped 8, we rushed 4, we blitzed some, we sat back in zone. We just tried to give them some different looks. And the quarterback's a hell of a player and gave us some problems. But, we bent a little bit, but, we didn't break.
Great, thank you. And how about Dan Cheng? How's he doing so far?
Dan's a tough kid. He's had 2 injuries, had a hip flexor pull that he's been struggling through, and now he basically took a helmet right on the shin. It was a deep bone bruise, and we asked him at halftime, Dan, if you can't go the second half, don't go. And he said, Coach, I'll give you all I got. And he came out, and I'm sure he played well in the second half.
Okay, and also, I remember you saying earlier the Knights are now 7-0, undefeated for the first time in North Penn history, maybe?
I think since it's been North Penn High School. I know there were some undefeated Lansdale High teams, but to my knowledge, what people have told me, there's never been a North Penn team that's been 7-0.
And what do you attribute that to this season?
Got a great group of kids that worked hard in the off season. There's no secret formula to it. We got kids that work hard, and I got a great coaching staff.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, you heard it here. North Penn Knights are now 7-0 for the first time since it's been North Penn High School. Back to you, G.
So congratulations to Coach Mike Pettin with the 7-0 record so far in the season. And now you got to hand it to the whole team, the fans, the crowd. It's an unbelievable game tonight.
And as he said, and as Coach Mike Pettin said just there, this team has worked so incredibly hard in the offseason. They want this championship so badly. In the middle of something, they call me. They know that they can win this, and they told me that they are going to win it. In fact, and I know. And right now, it doesn't look too impossible.
Very obvious to anyone that watched this game. that saw Clay Kucklick or anyone else on the team with extreme stamina and unbelievable offense, defense, special teams, especially Jason Alcott.
We saw it in every aspect. As you said, offense, excellent rushing, excellent passing today. Defense, excellent job at holding Council Rock, and then special teams on those 2 fumbles was a crucial point for North Penn.
So North Penn Knights get 7-0. And that's it for North Penn Television post-game wrap-up, and we'll be right back with the Marching Knights.
Less crime is no accident. Programs like mentoring, job training, counseling, along with after-school activities are keeping kids away from crime and crime away from kids. Look around. You'll see that kids involved in these kinds of programs are kids who are staying out of trouble. It takes you and programs that work. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT and we'll send you a free booklet. Call now and help take a bite out of crime.
Welcome back to Crawford Stadium as the Knights defeated Council Rock Indians 27-10. And as we leave you tonight, we'll give you the performance of North Penn Marching Knights. And from everybody from North Penn Television, this is G. Yoon along with Ken Myers by my side. So long.
Thank you.